You are listening to Witch on Wine podcast, and I'm your host, Yolanda Shoshana. Thank you so much for tuning in. This show is all about helping you bewitch your senses with wine. I am so excited about today's guest. I actually met her in a dark bar in Corning, New York, when I was at the Wine Blogger Conference. So I'm so excited for her to be here. Her name is Alexandra Doniger, and she is an assistant winemaker at Hector Wine Company in the Finger Lake area. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'm really excited because I actually wouldn't even know what an assistant winemaker does, so I have so many questions for you.
Perfect.
So you majored in literature and writing. How did you end up in the wine business?
Well, I guess my real start into the wine business was from a fairly young age. When I was 16, I began working at a fine dining restaurant in Connecticut where I grew up. And at the time, they had a pretty extensive wine list. And so a huge part of my training was in how to sell wine, how to taste wine properly. I was able to participate in, all of the weekly meetings where we talked about which wines we were selling. And so I kind of got a taste for wine fairly young. With my family, too, we always had wine at dinner. And so my palate was sort of starting to emerge from a young age. And then, I picked something to go to school for that would give me a foundation, how to communicate well so that I could go into any field. But throughout college, I always worked at wine bars and restaurants.
Uh-huh.
And so upon graduating, I sort of had to decide which path I wanted to go down. And, wine was my passion all throughout school. Every Friday night, I wasn't really out partying, but I was, trying a different wine from a different place and cooking with wine, and it was an integral part of who I was, and I decided that I wanted to do something with my life that I really enjoyed, and that I would start to get into the industry in some way or another. So I started working at a wine bar in Manhattan at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, thinking that maybe I would go down the somm path, but while I was doing that, I decided what I really wanted was to get my hands dirty, and that's when
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
I didn't want not that it's superficial, but I wanted like a real hands-on experience in the industry, and that's when I decided to make my move up here.
I think that's really cool because most people would, of course, choose, I guess somm is the way to go. So it's really good that you made that choice. You knew exactly what you wanted. That's really cool.
Yeah. I also was done working in restaurants. I'd been doing it since I was pretty young, and I decided that I
been there, done that.
Yeah. I was ready to do something different, learn something new.
Cool. So, what does a typical day look like for you as an assistant winemaker? Do you even have typical days?
I don't have really a typical day. It kind of actually is cyclical, so it depends on the time of the year. At this time of year, things are pretty calm in the cellar. So what I do is I come in the morning and I check on what's going on in the cellar. So we've got fermentations that are still going. I work for Forge Cellars as well as Hector Wine Company.
Okay.
And we do indigenous yeast Riesling fermentations in barrels. So I've got about 70 barrels of Riesling fermenting that I have to check on a very regular basis. And so that takes up a lot of my time, just seeing where they're at in terms of the fermentation process, and then doing some lab work, moving things around when they finish fermenting, topping barrels. So that's sort of this time of year what I'm doing.
That's amazing.
But, in a couple of months as we get ready to start bottling, then my days will be filled with, filtering and racking and more testing and bottling and all of that stuff. And then harvest, of course, is processing every day.
Right. Do you get out there and pick the grapes yourself too? Do you get out there? Do you?
A little bit. We have a crew that does most of the picking. We do all hand picked. We don't do any machine picking, but
nice.
Vineyards is great. And so usually they'll get out early in the morning and pick, and then our vineyard is right across the street from the winery. So when the grapes are
perfect.
hauled out and brought over here by my boss, that's when I'm in charge of managing the press deck crew, so we hand sort everything. So I've got a crew of sorters, and I run the machinery, the press, the crusher, the stemmer.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, this is exciting. Okay.
Yeah, you can come see it sometime in action. So
I really would like that. I'm like, I want to see this because I don't think people really realize the work that goes into the wine. They just think it ends up in a bottle, and I'm like, there's so much more happening.
Yeah, it's funny. People really don't quite understand, and then I get that a lot. Somebody will come and watch it for a day and say, "Oh wow, I had no idea that this is how."
Oh my gosh, I have to come. So, tell us a little bit more about Hector Wine Company and what kind of wines you all have.
Sure. So our winery just opened 5 years ago. It's owned by Justin Boyette, who's my boss and mentor, is really the person who taught me how to make wine. And Jason Hazlitt, who's business partner, whose family owns the vineyard, Sawmill Creek Vineyards, across the street. So Jason's a seventh-generation grower.
Wow.
Came back from college, has this rich history of his family growing exceptional grapes in the Finger Lakes. His grandfather was a pioneer in the industry, planting vinifera, the first to plant vinifera on the east side of Seneca. And he came back from college and wanted to start a winery using the grapes from his family's farm, so he could really have his vision go full circle. So we do small batches of mostly dry whites, dry reds. As I mentioned earlier, everything's hand-picked in our vineyard, hand-sorted. So our motto, and actually our hashtag, if you check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, is Wine Made with Soul. So
I know. I saw that, and I love that. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah. So just handcrafted, enjoyable.
Wow. Now, can people mainly get your stuff in the Finger Lakes and, of course, on your website, I'm assuming, but do you distribute around the world?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I work for both Hector Wine Company and Forge Cellars. So Hector Wine Company, mostly, we're mainly regional. So,
right.
We sell most of our wine right out of our doors here at the tasting room, which is open every day.
Right.
And we do some small distribution regionally, which we're growing a little bit each year, but until we make enough wine to do it.
Sure.
For the most
That's
part,
what I figured.
You can get, there's, New York City is about the farthest.
Okay.
But Forge, which is a partnership between Justin Boyette, who's one of the owners of Hector Wine Company, Rick Rainey, who's also New York-based partner, and Louis Barol, who's a winemaker from the Southern Rhone, who invested in the Finger Lakes.
Okay.
So that's another label that I'm the assistant winemaker under. And
cool.
We're distributed all over the country and in several different parts of the world.
Okay, I'll have to look for that. I don't think I tried that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, if someone is new to the Hector Wine Company, say I do find a bottle in the city, or I have to make my way out there, which is not a problem, which wine do you think I should try first? I like red and white, so.
Well, yeah. We make some pretty interesting wines. Pinot Blanc, which you don't see a lot in the Finger Lakes. There's only 4 producers that I know of so far. I am hearing some chatter about it being grown, being planted. So in a few years, maybe that'll grow. So we make a really nice Pinot Blanc, just textural, smooth, versatile with all types of food. That I definitely would push people in the direction of, just because it's something you don't see a lot in the Finger Lakes. Same with our Sauvignon Blanc, which is actually my first solo wine in 2013.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
We're sold out of it right now. We're sold out of the 14, but the 15 is tasting really nice. It's done fermenting and probably be bottling in a few months.
Oh, I'm gasping. I love this.
And then for red, another interesting thing that we do here is we make Syrah. So our owner's grandfather was the first to plant Syrah in the Finger Lakes back in 1998 in Sawmill Creek. And there's still just a handful of growers or producers, and so it's sort of one of our flagships.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to check it out. Now, so you left New York City for the Finger Lakes. Did any of your friends think you were crazy for doing that? Were they like, "What are you going to do out there?"
Yeah, they did. They did. But they all. I have great friends and family, and they supported me, and you know, they thought I was half crazy and half brave or something.
Right.
But I really wanted to, like I said, I wanted to get behind the scenes. I came up here knowing that, you know, until I found a job in the Finger Lakes wine industry, I could always work in a restaurant, you know, to make some cash and just like learn and grow and do. And so I came up and started just handing out my resume to everyone, and I was willing to do anything. So I would work in the vineyards, I would work in the cellar, I'd work in the tasting room. I kind of just like was a yes woman at that time. I would take whatever I could get so that I could learn all the different parts. But what I discovered was that I really like working in the cellar. And I like the sales part of it too. So working for two small companies, you know, pretty much from the beginning, it allowed me to excel in all these different areas. And so, you know, Justin, who's a head winemaker for Hector Wine Company, he and I both, you know, we make the wine and we sell it. So it kind of allows me to have this great balance in my life where I can have my, you know, sort of like alone, like therapeutic time working things out in the cellar, listening to music or podcasts, and then I can go out in the world and be personable and friendly and make connections and talk about, you know, my passion, which is wine.
So what has working in the wine industry taught you about yourself?
Oh, gosh, it's taught me so much about myself. It definitely made me understand both my strengths and my weaknesses, and, like my ability to overcome challenges. You know, I came up here with, you know, I was just like a book nerd who loved wine, and so getting really hands-on and all the physical labor and all of those challenges that I was able to sort of embrace and take on. Really, it helped me. I think it really helped shape who I am. And and the community too, I think, is a huge part of it. One of the things that I loved about moving to, you know, the country, to the Finger Lakes, is the community that I'm involved with. It's here in Hector. It's progressive farmers, you know, who have really embraced me, and so I learned to really kind of like who I am by being in this industry. Yeah.
I like that. I have to say, when I was out there for the conference, I just think I met some of the nicest people who just genuinely love what they do and were excited. I'm like, this exists? It was wild.
It does, I know. And, you know, when you're in a city, a lot of the time you don't know how much of this exists, how genuine it can all be. And that's what I love about wine. It's a genuine expression of hard work and nature, and you know, the relationship between man and nature, and it's like this living thing that embodies all of that. It's kind of incredible. But the people up here understand that and see that.
Oh yeah, and excited about it. Just everybody excited about it. You got to try the wine. You got to try the wine. I do have to try the wine. But and I met so many people that had left the city to come out there. I was like, wait, you left New York City? Tell me about this. I was a little astounded at how everybody's happy and thrilled to be there. It was great.
All the fresh air too, you know, and eating food that comes from within 10 miles of where you live. So our food scene is paralleling, you know, our growing wine scene also, which is natural. Yeah,
you all are doing some really great stuff. So speaking of, I read that you love sparkling wine. High five, girl. I love bubbles too.
How can you not love bubbles?
Oh, they're like my favorite. So which Finger Lakes sparkling wine should people know about? What do you recommend?
There's a few really good ones out there. One of my personal go-tos is the Damiani Brut, and it happens to just be a few miles away from where I live, and they're my great friends over there. So I think I drink those bubbles more than any other Finger Lakes bubbles, but definitely noteworthy are Ravines and Herman Weimer, Lamar Landing, Dr. Frank. Great bubbles. Yeah. I actually just the other night, there's a new wine and cider bar down in Watkins Glen at the bottom of Seneca Lake, and I just got engaged 2 weeks ago, and so my fiance and I went down to celebrate with oysters on the half shell, and they had Dr. Frank's Celebrate. It's Chateau Frank Celebrate is what it's called, and it's a rosé made from Pinot Meunier, and it was just really delicious with
It is so good.
the oysters.
It is so good.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
That Celebrate does it for me. I have a bottle over here. I'm looking at it. Oh, yeah, I'm like, you know, maybe go put that in the fridge and we get that on. Wow, nice. Well, congratulations, Mazel Tov, girl. Now, where'd you meet your fiance? Is he in wine?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, high five. Okay. Congrats. Do you have a date set?
Not yet. We've only been engaged for 2 weeks, but we're thinking next summer around the summer solstice, so probably next year.
Oh, how magical! Yay! Oh, how exciting! Oh, I love that.
I won't be a Doniger anymore. I mean, I'll still always be a Doniger, but I'll be a Bond.
Of course.
So.
A Bond. I love it.
Yeah, actually, his name is James Bond. So.
Stop it.
No joke.
Oh my gosh, I have so much I can say right now, but this is about wine. So do you envision yourself having your own vineyard one day, your own winery? Do you have plans, or you're like, okay.
I'm really lucky that I mean, I don't like to plan too far ahead. That's just
okay.
who I am. But it's really amazing to be with these two growing companies, and I see myself growing along with them for many years to come.
Okay.
So I'm really happy doing that. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll rent out a small space in the cellar and do my own little line, but I'm not even thinking about that.
No, but it sounds exciting. It sounds like you've got something good. So is Hector going to possibly work on maybe a sparkling wine? Because you all don't have one, right?
We have some. We just we had a little bit 2009, which was our first vintage. So it was before I came along. But Justin, he's a bubbles guy through and through.
Okay.
And we actually pretty soon we'll be able to release our second batch.
Okay,
so
cool. Cool.
Awesome. And Discord, and then we'll have it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Traditional method Champenois brut made from Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Blanc.
Ooh, okay, that sounds good. I'll be on the lookout for that. Sounds like I'm going to have to come and get it because y'all are going to sell out of it before it goes anywhere.
Yeah, there's not a lot of it. We sell out of it pretty quickly, and the staff probably drinks about half of it.
It's like, we have one bottle to sell. Well, thank you so much. It sounds like so many wonderful things are happening for you, and I love it, love it, love it.
Yeah,
so,
thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, of course. So what's the website? HectorWineCompany.com?
Hector Wine Company. Yeah, HectorWineCompany.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, so you can follow all that. And I'm the one who does all the social media, too, because it's just something I like to do.
Okay,
so you can follow me on all those.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And once again, congrats, Mazel Tov, and everything. Love it.
Well,
I love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, cheers to you. Bye.